Golly.
Kind of cool, eh?
Yeah, once again, at Ponies in the Smokies, there is literally every model of the SAAC cars represented.
A plethora.
A plethora. You keep using that word.
That is a good word. I've learned that word. It is a good word.
But really, like, this is Dave Eber's personal car. We've done video with him. You can actually check that on the channel. Stay tuned for a card that will pop up. But this one it's supercharged. It's got Recaros. He drove it 2 hours almost to get here. I mean, it's really, and he's put the Shelby.
Well, the Shelby was the original intent, was to be able to use that.
Right.
But they ran into a little bit of a legal issue. So then this car has got the SAAC logo for the Shelby American Car Club.
Right, right. So these are Mark 1s. This is the only Mark 1 with Recaros,
right,
according to Dave. The black car is what is called a what?
That was a Shelby Snake.
Yep.
And they were looking to be able to have another car that they could introduce that wasn't quite as expensive as this car, more of an entry-level car, but you could get an optional supercharger on it, which this car has.
Yeah, and I think Dave's talked about, you can check out the video, as I mentioned, that they didn't do all the motor upgrades on those Snakes because of, I guess, I don't know if you'd call it, you didn't want to create too much against with that, or emissions. I don't, anyway.
Well, it was also less expensive because they're not having to do the full conversion that these cars got.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I have to remember the conversation we had with him. It's been quite a while, but Dave is just a wealth of knowledge on these. He helped build these cars, one of the engineers on staff. But convertibles are here, and the hatches are. I mean, this is amazing.
I haven't seen this many SAAC cars since back in the days when these cars were first introduced and presented to the owners at the convention. And a lot of guys that own these cars were SAAC members. So, of course, the one time a year they could get them out and exercise them would be a Shelby event.
Right.
So they'd come to one of the SAAC events and run the cars.
It's just amazing. This is unique to see. What's the production, Dave? How many were produced? 62 total cars.
Right. And how many of them actually survived today? I mean, I'm sure some of the cars got smashed.
Yeah, it's likely.
A couple of them did.
Couple of them, yeah.
I know Dave was. I know that they scratched a few of them up in the doing the press stuff back in the day. The guys that write for magazines aren't always the best drivers.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could check out the video. I think we're also going to release a podcast, so stay tuned for that with Dave. He talks about some of the antics that they had to deal with because of the press guys.
But it's really neat to see these cars together, these cars finally getting the recognition that they need. Because for years you would tell somebody you had a SAAC car and they didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, and I think because of such the small production, but the quality of the cars, the build quality, the attention to detail, because they had to follow a lot of Ford's rules.
Well, you also have to remember that these cars were really bought by the Shelby enthusiast and the SAAC club members, and they didn't really trade hands that much.
Right.
So that's how cars sort of get more popular, is that somebody sells it to this guy and then this guy takes it to a show and that guy takes it to a show. People love these cars so much they didn't really trade hands for the first little bit of time that they were made, and then all of a sudden the owners got older and the car started trading hands.
Yeah, I mean it's actually right here in the window of this. There's a Hemmings muscle machines, and they've got one of these represented on the front of it, and so it's definitely taking hold across, I guess you would say, the landscape of social media and print media now. And it really is. It's just, I think, to me, people ask, "What's this car worth? What do you think? What will it be worth?" And I'm like, look. So there's two things that play into that to me, and it's the rarity and desirability.
Right.
Those two have to converge.
But it's also going to be a good car.
Yeah.
And these cars were so well built with Simmons wheels, disc brakes, Koni shocks. I mean, it was top of the line stuff these cars were built with.
Yep.
And there's not a bunch of weird aftermarket stuff because, the Ford GT40 motor was basically the same motor that they ran in the 93 Cobra.
Yep.
And I mean, so these cars will go 100,000+ miles without issues. And I think that makes a difference too. It's just people needed to figure out and remember what these cars were.
Yeah.
And that's really starting to happen and take off.
It absolutely is. It's the Simmons wheels, 3-piece wheels, and the brakes. It's a very well-balanced machine to drive, especially back in the day. It was a driver's car.
Oh yeah.
So much so that Ford took the idea of like, oh hey, you know what? We might be able to do that. There's rumors that the 93 Cobra, these were basically the predecessor to that, what become the 93 Cobra. Nobody has admitted to that, but I think it's a very obvious connection there. So, but yeah, it's just really cool. They made a red one, black, white. All the colors are represented. It's so killer. What were the motor mods? Do you remember? Dave mentioned it, but
GT40 heads, tubular intake, the headers, roller rockers, throttle body, intake spacer, and stock injector size, and 355 gears.
Yeah, and then didn't do exhaust. They exhaust too.
Right? They had a was it Borla? A Borla exhaust.
Catback.
Yeah.
So. And
the short throw Hurst shifter, the one that had the plastic ball, which felt the best of any of them. With that shifter felt so good in your hands.
Dave, wasn't there a couple of exhausts that you tried before the Borla setup, like Flowmaster and a couple of others?
I tried everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Dave didn't want to appear on camera, so he's off to making sure we're not goofing up and we're saying the right thing.
Exactly, cracking the whip, telling us, nope, that's not right.
Yeah, he's been yelling at us all night. I was almost in tears earlier.
I thought that was for another reason.
Yeah. But it's neat. I mean, this is the kind of stuff, like I said, you see at Ponies in the Smokies, and to get one car here, much less 5 cars here, and then all the different examples, it's amazing. Yep, really and this is the kind of thing that the owners need to get the cars out to get the recognition that these cars deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And to me, when the cars become a household name, they become collectible in the sense that it's almost name your price, because that's when everybody knows it, and those that have the most win with that. So, but Mark, thanks for, again, I really appreciate you doing these videos. We'll be staying after hours, and
sorry, I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock, but it's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, when you turned 55.
56.
56,
yeah.
Because you had to be reminded by your wife.
Yeah, and I appreciate you wheeling me around in the wheelchair for the whole event. That was really nice.
Sorry, but the battery ran out on that. So.
In my George cart.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't miss a chance to do some videos and have fun and hang out. And the group of people that were here this weekend were absolutely amazing. Got to see a lot of old friends. Got to meet people that I talked to on the phone that have never made the connection. And that's everything that's really nice about these kind of shows, is that the internet sort of spoiled us, and you kind of feel like you know people, but it's always nice to put a name with a face, shake a hand, and really, say, oh, hey, okay, I know I've talked to you on the phone 50 times, but I had no idea what you looked like.
Yeah, I've had several people walk up to me and thank me for the videos, and I greatly appreciate that. If you see me, feel free to come up and say, hey. Definitely want to be able to chat anything about cars with you. It's a lot of fun. So those that have, we're building new relationships with people that I've chatted with in email, and they're now becoming a face-to-face person. Really enjoy that. So, but yeah, again, Ponies in the Smokies, guys, you've got to make this. And so it is a bucket list. Got to be a bucket list item for a car show that you attend. If you're waffling,
huge this year. Yeah, absolutely huge.
And there's still one more day. Tomorrow.
Yes,
so
one more day. And you have me up shooting videos.
Yeah.
I need to get my nightly sleep. Yeah.
So, yeah, stay tuned for more. Thanks, Mark.